Now another question which is asked by the people is that why this global warming is increasing in the world and why this climate change is coming. So gentlemen, the basic reason for this climate change and global warming in the world are the three gases. You can see this graph. Carbon dioxide is one of the main gas which is causing global warming and climate change. In addition to this, methane and nitrous oxide are also other two gases which create global warming. Now, if you see the graph of CO2, carbon dioxide, this is the graph from year 1000 to 2016. So here you may see that prior to about year 1900, the CO2 level in environment used to be between 280-300 parts per million. But after industrial era, this started increasing, and today world average has become 425 parts per million. And for past about 30 years, it is increasing at a very rapid rate, exponential rate. Now, this is the equation of this graph modeled from year 1800 onwards. You can see here that from year 1950 to about 225 or 24, this is how the CO2 level is rising. So world average today has become 425. But in place like Delhi, it is already crossing, these are the records of Delhi, it is already crossing more than 600, 700 and even 800 parts per million. In some of the areas, I was surprised to note recently that it crossed even 1000 parts per million. This is a reading taken recently on 31st October 25 near Safdarjung Hospital and AIMS Hospital. Now beyond that, near National Disaster Management Authority building, the outside environment CO2 was recorded as 901 parts per million. Similarly, even in Delhi Secretariat, outdoor environment on 27 November when he went there to give a presentation, outside their building the CO2 content in environment was 731 parts per million. And when we returned in the evening after presentation, this is another reading outside that Delhi Secretariat building, it has become 986 parts per million. Now you can imagine how the air conditioning systems will be functioning if we get this fresh air, so-called fresh air from outside for air change per hour. Because that is the reason why the AC plants are not able to restrict the CO2 in indoor environment below 1000 parts per million. So this is the reason. And if we do not arrest this CO2 in environment by any means, then this is going to be our future in 21st century and beyond. The same equation which was in earlier graph, if we extrapolate it further, then it is expected that by 2090, this will cross the safe limit of 800 parts per million. And by 2200, this will cross a very dangerous level of 5000 parts per million if the CO2 level is allowed to rise at the present rate at which it is rising in the world. This is the world average. But in Delhi, our record shows that the condition of 2090 has already come in 2026. So Delhi environment is something uncommon, and the reason for this are also quite clear in my mind. What is happening in Delhi, that we are concentrating population in Delhi in small areas. If you see study the development in Delhi, because to keep less pressure on Delhi of population, Noida was created some years back. But now Noida is also saturated, Greater Noida is saturated, beyond that Greater Noida is coming. Here Gurgaon has mushroomed like anything. So now we have started again development in Delhi. Now if you go from Nehru Place to Dhola Kuan, you will find on this ring road many multi-story buildings coming up. Imagine this area of AIMS and Safdarjung. Opposite that AIMS area, there was East Kidwai Nagar, where double-story flats of government officers used to be there. There were DDA flats, double-story, and lot of trees were there in that area. But today, it is a multi-story complex of 10 to 15 story, 20 story buildings have come up there, which has recently been constructed by NBCC. If you go further ahead, beyond Safdarjung Airport, World Trade Centers are coming. There are 7, 8 multi-story high-rise buildings coming up. So this is what is happening. This is what is concentration of population. And opposite that, in Sarojini Nagar, similar construction is coming up. We are demolishing all double-story flats in Sarojini Nagar also, and multi-story flats from 10 to 15 story or 20 story buildings are coming up. So this is what is affecting the climatic conditions in Delhi, because all these populations, they are firstly emitting the carbon dioxide into environment by respiration, also by their other activities. Number of vehicles are increasing, number of cooking utensils, cooking appliances are increasing. So all these are producing carbon dioxide. So that is why the climate change is happening in Delhi at a much faster rate, and which is clear from this figure that Delhi is something different than rest of the world. What figures generally people talk are the average CO2 content in the world. But in pockets like Delhi, where concentration of population is taking place, and it is not only Delhi, the similar thing is happening in Gurgaon. In fact, in Gurgaon, the number of multi-story buildings are much larger than even in Delhi, and same thing is coming up in Noida and Greater Noida area. Few days back, I went to Parichok. There was JP Greens being created, golf course near Parichok. It was a beautiful area, but recently I had been there. Almost 27 to 30 story buildings complex have come up there. By Gore Greens or something is coming up. It is a big complex of multi-story high-rise buildings. So this will disturb the environment, and this is what is disturbing the environment in Delhi. And the government is making all efforts, planting more trees, by having control on vehicles, by sprinkling water and water vapors. Nothing is happening as far as the reduction of pollution in environment are concerned. And reduction in pollution in environment is not only PM 2.5 or PM 10. That is what most of the people are wrongly understanding this. For them, and that's why hue and cry occurs in Delhi only in winters, November, December, January, February. After that, everybody will forget the pollution. But pollution exists even after that. The CO2 content I have been observing in Delhi for past about 3 years, it is continuously increasing. Last year, it was worse than previous year. This year, the CO2 content and other pollutant in air are more than it used to be last year. Whatever government can claim that we have reduced the pollution in Delhi, they must have reduced the particulate matter pollution in some area by sprinkling water. But overall pollution of gases in Delhi, which is more dangerous, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone particularly, ozone has been found increasing in Delhi's air. Carbon monoxide has also been found increasing in Delhi's air over past few years. So unless we control, we reduce this pollution in the environment, global warming will not decrease. And if global warming doesn't decrease, then climate change will not increase. And that's why we find lot of climate change, मौसम की उथल पुथल. कहीं बादल फट रहे हैं, कहीं जहाँ बारिश नहीं होती थी बारिश हो रही है, जहाँ बारिश होती थी वहाँ सूखा पड़ रहा है, जहाँ बर्फ़ नहीं पड़ता था वहाँ बर्फ़ पड़ रहा है, जहाँ बर्फ़ पड़ता था वहाँ बर्फ़ पड़ना बंद हो गया है. यही मौसम की उथल पुथल है. दिस इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ द क्लाइमेट चेंज. This we have to understand more clearly.